What's up everyone? I welcome you on TechnoCube. My name is Lesh Yadav and you are welcome to this wonderful course on basics of C#. So what exactly we're going to do with this session? We'll understand one topic, and the topic name is dataset. We had already gone through one practical where we had seen how to use data table and how to fetch the values or fetch the data from the database and display it on DataGridView in WindowForm using C# and .NET, right? We had seen that. In this session, we're going to use an alternative of data table. We are using dataset. See, data table is one table. Here we are using collections of table, right? So in project, if there is any requirement where you are having multiple tables, then you can use data set and you can fetch data from multiple tables and put it or display it on grid view. That is the purpose of data set, right? So it is a collection of data table. Okay, so here is an example. See here, this is an example of data table. So what exactly we are doing in this code, we are having SQL connection, we are having SQL command which says select star from TBL data, and TBL data is your data data table. Here inside the table you can see there is TBL data. Okay, so then we are using con open, which is not necessary. Here you are having SQL data adapter and then data table. See, this is the main important thing of this code. So they have data table and empty table, and then we are filling this table and then we are putting as data source to the data grid view. Now instead of this data table, we will use data set. So how to work with data set and how to fetch the data from the database using data set instead of or rather than data table. Okay, so let's understand and let's get into the code part. So what I'm gonna do, I'll take one new form here. I'll add a new form, and that form name is form2 and I'm adding it. Okay, so once it is added, you just have to drag and drop the control, and that control name is data grid view. You can find data grid view inside the data tab of toolbox. You can open your toolbox with a shortcut control alt X. Okay, and then also you can use view and then you go to the toolbox using an shortcut control alt X. Okay, so now what is this I don't need it. Okay, so I will drag and drop data grid view here. So this is your data grid view, and then I already have one table, that is tbl underscore data. Now instead of that, I'll create one new table. So to open server explorer, you can use control alt S. So there you go with your server explorer. I'll go to tables and right click on that and make add new table, and then I'll say ID. It's going to be int, and then I will say let me show department, or let me write it as dpt underscore name, and then varchar department. What should I say? Instead of this department name, I'll simply say name, and then email going to be varchar, and then I'll say phone. This is going to be varchar again, and then in last I'll print let me take it as what should I say? Yeah, I can say city. Come on, my typing is really bad at this. Varchar, this keyboard sucks sometimes. Okay, so I'll right click on this ID and set primary key, and then I'll go to identity specification to change the or to make it auto increment IDs. So I'll make it yes, and then tbl underscore demo1. There you go. You have your new table name here, tbl underscore demo1, and the column name is ID, name, email, phone, and city. So let me insert some dummy data inside my tbl underscore demo1. So I go to my tbl underscore demo1, right click on that and show table data, and then I'll use some dummy data here. So I'll put John here first of all, and then John mail ID, John at the rate John .com. Yeah, this is the dummiest data I ever put. John at the rate gmail.com. This is good. Then I'll say 1 2 3 4 5, and then I'll say he's from where exactly he's from. He's from Berlin. And then I'll put new entry smith @ gmail.com, and then 1 2 3 4 5 6. He is from New York. All right, so I have two data here, two dummy data over here. Let me put another entry here, Paul, and Paul @gmail.com, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and he's from Dubai. That's okay. Three entries. I'll close this tab here, and then I go to my form2.cs. Let me close this form1.cs and form1.cs design. Now I'll go to the code part. So to get in the code part, you can press F7, and there you go. You are in the code part. And now we will write first of all our namespace. So using system.data.sql client. This is the first step that we provide here in the form2.cs, and then we'll create new method refresh data, and then we will create this method by pressing enter, and then it will give you this small icon, and then I go to this, I will expand it, and it will give you the option to generate the method. So there you go, you have your method over here. I'll remove this exception, and then the first step is SQL connection con equals to new SQL connection. You can get your connection by going to database1.mdf, that is your database, and then I'll copy the connection string from here, the property of that database. I'll double click over here, I'll copy it, and I put it into the string quotes. Okay, so I'll remove the first quotes from here and then from here, and then I'll put @ before the double quotes. There you go, you're good with connection string. Now I'll go to the next step, that is SQL command cmd equals to new SQL command, and I'll say select star from tbl underscore demo1, and I'll pass the con object. That's it. And then the next step is SQL data adapter SDA equals to new SQL data adapter, and I'll pass cmd. And then the next step is very crucial. So instead of data table, we will use here dataset. So let me call dataset over here, dataset ds equals to new dataset. That's it. And the next step is I need to fill the dataset. So I'll say sda dot fill, and then see here what this fill method needs here. The first thing it needs is the data set here. Let me zoom it. So first thing it needs is data set object, right? So I can pass ds here, and then it needs string source table. So you can provide your table name, and my table name here is tbl underscore demo1. So I can easily pass my table name here, tbl underscore demo1. So this is your table, and you want to fetch the data from the tbl underscore demo1 and want to fill your data set. So this line is exactly doing that. So it's fetching the data and putting into the data set object. And then I'll lastly print DataGridView, where exactly it is, yeah, DataGridView1 dot data source equals to where is my source, and the source is inside the ds, that is your data set, and then it needs what table. So I'll say tables, and what table name. So in the integer index I can either pass the table index 0 1 2 3, or either I can pass the complete string over here. So I will write the name tbl underscore demo1. That's it. So this is your code where it fetches the data from the database and display it on the grid view. So now let me run this application, and let's see that what happens. So to run this, as you can see in my solution explorer, I have form1 and form2.cs. I have two forms, but by default form1 is running because you see here there is one file, that name is program.cs. So earlier in the video session I had told you, when you're having multiple forms in your solution explorer, how can you run this specific form is basically by going into the program.cs, and program.cs is having the main method here, static void main, and there you go. You see here default form is form1, where the form1 is going to run every time Okay, so you can change that instance. So I'll make it form 2. Now form 2 is going to run. So I'll run this application and you will see DataGridView will load. It will load. Oh, let me just resize my grid view. It is not giving you the all entries, so let me just resize it to the proper extent, and now you go to run and you will see that your data is loaded from the database into the this control, that is DataGridView. You can see the first entry is john@gmail.com, and then Smith, then Paul, and these are the phone numbers and these are the cities. So this is exactly the thing that we want, right? So earlier we are doing with the help of data table, but with this session we are using Dataset. Now Dataset, the advantage of Dataset, that it holds multiple tables, and you can go from one table to another table to display it on some control. I hope you understand it, and we will see much more instances and much more speculations on the data set and data tables, and then many more functionalities of that. I hope you understand it, and thank you so much for watching me. And please don't forget to subscribe my channel. I request you all to join my channel. Thank you so much, and we will meet you in the next session. Thank you so much.